Hey, what's going on, guys? Andrew here, and today we're going to be talking about another SPAC that I've been looking at recently. And if you don't know what a SPAC is, you haven't checked out my other video about CCIV. A SPAC is just a blank check company that raises a bunch of money and they invest into a private company and they merge with that private company, taking it public. Now, the SPAC that we're going to be looking at is Churchill Capital, and they are rumored to be merging with Lucid Motors. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what Lucid Motors is, you guys know how much I love NIO, and you guys know all the NIO videos I've been putting out recently. Lucid is pretty similar. What they're doing is they're looking to develop luxury vehicles in the electric vehicle space. Now, we don't actually have a source on where this rumor came from, but we had an article posted by Bloomberg, and that's kind of where all this originated from. And now all these websites are posting about it. Everybody's hopping on the train. So the CEO of Lucid is Peter Rawlinson, who is actually the chief engineer of the Tesla Model S, and he's the chief engineer of the Lucid Air, which we're going to be talking about a little bit, which is their vehicle. And so this is really good because this guy's got a lot of experience when it comes to the electrical vehicle market and designing, and this is going to be really good for the overall company. And in terms of the deal with Churchill Capital, it is rumored to be worth around $15 billion. So the Lucid Air is a sedan modeled just like the Model S, and it goes for the low of $80,000 and it can go up to $170,000 with upgrades and like that. Now, I know you're thinking, wow, this is a huge price range. Like, what is so good about this vehicle? And I'll tell you what's good about it. So in a 2017 interview, Rawlinson said that the Air will have up to 521 miles of EPA rated range, and that compared to the Tesla Model S only has 334 miles of EPA rated range. Now, this vehicle also has a max horsepower of 1,080, and it can go 0 to 60 in as quick as 2.5 seconds. And it also says that if you use a DC fast charge, you can charge 300 miles in just under 20 minutes. So that's super fast, super convenient as well. Now, they've already taken pre-orders for it, and from the various articles that I've been reading, it's expected to begin shipping this spring. Now, the next thing that puts Lucid ahead of most other electric vehicle companies is that they actually have a factory built. Now, they received $1 billion from Saudi Arabia's Sovereign Wealth Fund, and they used that to build a factory in Arizona. Now, this factory contains an initial vehicle production capacity of 34,000 units, and Rawlinson said himself that he believes it could end up being over 400,000 units towards the end of the decade. Now, it doesn't matter too much, but I just thought it would be nice to note that Rawlinson wants to deliver 1 million vehicles a year by 2027. Now, Rawlinson also talked about their battery packs as Lego blocks, is what he referred to them as, and they basically have the battery cells go into a pack and they put that in the vehicle to power it, and typically the more cells they have in a pack, then the farther it'll be able to go. Now, another thing that's going to help get the price of the Lucid Air down is going to be the efficiency, and I like how Rawlinson talks about he cares more about the efficiency than the range of the battery itself, and he said that Lucid's has about 4 miles per kilowatt hour, and that's compared to the Tesla Model S long range, which has 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour. Now, I really like how Lucid is using their investment to build a factory. That way, they're going to be able to produce their own vehicles on their schedule, and they're going to be able to perfect their vehicles with the efficiency that they like. And I really like how they're doing that because not a lot of companies are having their own factories. For one example, NIO doesn't have their own factory, and I think that building in Arizona is definitely a good spot to be in. Now, as much as I want to believe all these news sources that are reporting this, like Bloomberg, I also want to do some digging myself to make sure that this rumor and this merging acquisition is credible. So I was digging through Twitter, and one of my Discord members, shout out to him, who messaged me, sent me a picture of this. And these are job offerings from Lucid Motors. And it's the SEC reporting manager, director of investor relations, and an analyst for investor relations. Now, this gives me a better idea on why I think they're going to merge, because you wouldn't need any of these if you were a private company, but you would need them if you were merging with a SPAC and if you were going public. Now, something to be concerned about a little bit is how high Churchill Capital stock right now is above the net asset value, or the NAV. And the NAV is $10, so it is at $16.41 currently, which is 64% above the net asset value. Now, this is a bad thing because if the merger fails or if something happens and you want to redeem your shares, you have the downside of 64%. And if you don't understand how SPACs work, they distribute shares out, and if the merger doesn't go through, if the company can't find a target, or if you just want to redeem your shares in general, you can redeem them at the net asset value price, which is typically $10. And so that is a bad thing, because if they don't merge, then you could be risking the downside of that. But Personally, I like to think of it as the glass is half full scenario, where if this is going up 65% already on just rumors, not even confirmed rumors, but just rumors on Lucid Motors, then I think it's going to pop at the very least above $20 to $25 once we get a confirmation that they are merging with Lucid. So I think there's risk inherently because you're so far above the net asset value, but I do think that if it does merge, then your reward is going to be well worth it. Now, another interesting thing I found on Twitter, shout out to the guy on Twitter who posted this, is some level 2 data that shows the order of 200,000 shares for Churchill Capital. Now, why somebody would order 200,000 shares, I don't know, because they don't have a confirmed merger and everything is just a rumor, and they're 65% above the net asset value. So I think somebody could possibly know something. They know that this merger might go through, and this is why they are ordering so many shares. Now, guys, there's going to be two things that I think are going to propel the stock price the most, and the first is going to be merger news, and if Lucid Motors or the CEO come out and say that they are actually going to be merging, that's going to propel the stock price exponentially. And then, of course, I want to see these vehicles on the road. I want to make sure that they deliver them on time. Now, from a technical standpoint, it looks really good as long as it continues to hold this 15.65 level. As you can see, it rejected here, and it used it as previous support today. So as long as we can hold that, I think we're going to test the 17s this week. And as long as we can keep the volume, we had about 70 million in volume today, and it's only 3 o'clock Eastern. So we got about an hour left of trading. But it looks really good as long as we can continue to hold that level. That's the level I would look to add on. My average is about 15. So I didn't get the best entry, of course, like these guys over here. But I still think I have a pretty solid entry, and I will be adding in on dips. But yeah, just in my opinion, I think this 15.64 level holding as support is going to be really good for the continuation up. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid Motors and if you think this merger is actually going to go through, and how you feel about the Lucid Air itself in the vehicle, because I really like the range, and I also really like how the company used their investment money and capital to build a factory, which is something I wish NIO did. They haven't done yet, so we're going to have to see, but that's definitely an advantage I give them over most electric vehicle companies. So if you made it this far into the video, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I really like this stock. I'm in it already. Hopefully we can get some merger news within the next days to weeks. Months if it has to, but I really think this stock is going to pop if it merges with Lucid Motors. But if you guys want to see more content like this, more specs that I'm interested in, more individual stocks, charting, technical analysis, and stuff like that, make sure to subscribe, because we're coming up on 500 subscribers, and you guys have been blowing this channel up recently, and I thank you so much for that. But other than that, guys, that is going to be the end of the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.